So reviewing the thoughts about it will really help. Now, the fourth thing, which I kind of touched on, is actually getting to the deep roots of the problem. Pornography is a symptom. It's not the root cause of a problem. So pornography is a symptom of, for instance, low self-esteem, when people don't have the ability to believe in themselves that they can actually thrive in a relationship. In a way, what they're saying is there's so much feeling of unworthiness that the brain of the person who's addicted to this is like, I can't really cope with a relationship. I'm not enough in this area. So therefore, I'm going to isolate myself and engage with whatever is giving me the only pleasure that I have in life. So there's a lot of unworthiness in there that you need to actually start to address. And this will come later on, and I'll tell you how to start addressing this, because that links with what I said before, is that this is a spiritual problem. This problem needs to be addressed spiritually as much as it needs to be addressed socially, holistically, even like psychologically as well. So you need to really get to the deep cause of the problem. The deep roots of the problem, I think, is low self-esteem or low self-worth. The other thing is the fear of vulnerability, the fear of actually showing up, because think about it, this addiction is kind of hiding. You're hiding yourself, which means that you're afraid to open up. You're afraid of vulnerability. You're afraid to open up to life. So this is one of the causes of this issue, I would say. The other cause, one of the root causes of this issue, is actually the inability to express yourself. And in a way, porn actually gives the person a way to express themselves, a way to kind of release whatever energy that they have, because there's a kind of a block of energy in this person. They're unable to express themselves. Now, there's so many reasons why, but they're unable to express themselves. So there's a lot of pent up energy that this person doesn't know where to go. So obviously they gravitate towards what the brain is already addicted to, or the brain is already kind of used to, because this is how the brain works. So that's the fourth issue. Now, the fifth thing that I wanna address here is having a purpose. Being addicted to anything, whether it's porn, smoking, alcohol, it signifies that your life is actually not very exciting. So you're replacing the excitement that you're missing from your life with an addiction, with a behavior that gives you some sort of dopamine. It gives you some sort of rush. And we're trying to make people stop these behaviors, whereas we're not addressing one of the things that makes them go to this behavior, which is a dull life, a life that has no purpose. So in order for us to understand and to solve this problem, we need to help people become purposeful. We need to help people discover what their gifts are and to gravitate towards that. We cannot delete an addiction. We cannot wrestle an addiction to the ground and beat it up until it's finished. We can't do that. What we can do is minimize this as much as possible, like give your brain a break, and I'll tell you about the solution. Give your brain a break, and then when we're doing this, at the same time, we're telling your brain, here is what you're meant to do in this life. Here's what's exciting. And this is where it comes. It comes from you get into the purpose, get into your gifts and sharing your gifts with the world, because that is going to give you the most excitement that you have, to the point where you won't need this thing. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys, because it's not enough. And some psychologists say, oh, you need to replace the behavior with some sports or going to the gym. That might help, that will help. However, it's not going to help in a way that will make your life more purposeful, because like I said, when you're addicted to pornography, the amount of dopamine that is released in the brain is so much more than you go to the gym or you go and do in a sports. So that doesn't compete. The only thing that will compete with this behavior is you living your purpose, which will give you the amount of joy, amount of dedication that will help you release whatever behavior that is not serving you. Now, the sixth step of this is starting to open up to healthy relationships. Now, when it comes to pornography issue, there is a lot of problems when it comes to opening up your heart to someone else. There's a lot of problems when it comes to fear of rejection. There's a lot of problem when it comes to becoming comfortable with with intimacy. There's a lot of intimacy problems in there. So we really need to start seeking out relationships that are healthy for you, addressing the problems that you have when it comes to relationships, when it comes to building intimacy. Whether you're single or you are with a relationship but lack intimacy, we need to start to have a look at that, and we need to start to become aware of them and take steps forward. Now, this in itself is a whole issue in itself. However, what you can do is start somewhere, start taking steps forward, because this will help kind of get you out of isolation, whether that's you just talking to people, opening up, joining a club, and eventually seeking out a relationship that will actually fulfill you, because this will give you the intimacy, this will give you the things that you actually need. When we're addicted to a behavior, it means that some of our needs are not being met. That's what it means, honestly. It's just that some of your needs, whether that's your need to be loved, the needs to love, your need of connection, your needs of feeling important, all of these needs are not being met. Therefore, you're replacing it with something that will not meet your needs eventually, but it's kind of the only thing that you have right now, or that you think that you have right now. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, and I've lost numbers, but all of these points, guys, are really important. And I know it's such a long topic, but I want to give you as much value as I can from what I've learned from this. One of the next things I want to talk about is actually becoming comfortable with being alone. This is really important, and I had to really become, and I'm still in this journey, I'm not perfect, but I have become, I used to be really, really agitated when I become alone. When I'm alone, I'm like, I want some sort of stimulus. I want on my phone, I start to itch, and I'm not really comfortable just sitting there and taking a deep breath. And you might think that this is insignificant, but it's really significant, because when we're not comfortable with who we are, we need something from the outside to make us forget who we are. And that in itself is a problem. There's a quote, I don't remember who said it, but the only problem that a man has is that he can't sit alone in a room on his own. So that there is some truth to that, because you need to enjoy being on your own. You need to enjoy just being. You need to start to become comfortable with who you are, comfortable with the voice in your head. You need to start to become comfortable with that. And I know this is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to do when you're used to seeking the outside to fulfill you. And that's kind of a deep emptiness that you feel. Again, it connects to what I just said, that this is a spiritual thing that you need to address, which I will get to that, I promise. Now, the next point I want to address here is having a healthy, balanced diet. Why is this important? You see, when you have a diet that is not healthy, like when you're eating all of this junk food, when you're eating, a lot of sugar, a lot of, I don't know what people eat these days, just so much junk. When you're eating all of that, what happens to your body is that you actually become stressed. Your brain kind of freaks out. It doesn't know how to actually deal with these problems. Now, when you're addicted to pornography, this stress translates into cravings. They're called cravings. If you've studied addiction, or if you've looked at addiction in general, you're familiar with cravings. It's kind of like a message to go into the behavior. So when you have a very unbalanced diet that is not good for you, your body will give you a lot of cravings. So it becomes really hard for the person to overcome this issue when their diet is so bad, because they're put in their body under so much stress, and your brain freaks out, and then you want to seek the behavior. You want to seek almost a release of the stress that you've built through unhealthy food. So if you're addicted to this issue in particular, it's really going to be important for you to start exercising, to have a balanced diet. Now, this is not just important for this, of course, it's going to serve you in the long term, but it's really hard for you to, get rid of this issue if you're eating all of that bad stuff. So please have a look at your diet, and if you need help with this, I do post a lot of things about diet here and how to start it and how to keep going about this particular thing. Now, the next thing, which I kind of touched on, is cravings. How to deal with cravings. I'm gonna say this about craving, and there's so much information about cravings online. If you have cravings, that means you're already I wouldn't say you messed up, but you're too late. It's too late, which means that you've let your brain go to where it's not supposed to go. Now, here's what happens when you're actually addicted to pornography. The moment you decide to stop, your brain will start to send you signals in order for you to go back, because it wants the stimulation. It's the neural pathways in the brain are used to this, so they'll drive you there. Now, you need to start to eliminate the triggers that get you there. And if you don't eliminate these triggers at the beginning, you'll have a lot of craving. So when you have craving, that means you've triggered yourself so much to the point where it's already transferred into a feeling. Now, what do you do when you have cravings? Well, to be honest, there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do when you have cravings. You can fight it, you can distract yourself, you can go on a walk. However, when you have it, it's already too late. It means that there's some steps that you haven't done before. So that's what I want to say about cravings. Or there are many ways in order to deal with cravings, whether that's escaping it, whether that's through distraction. However, my opinion is that if you have cravings, there's something there that you've missed out on, the steps that you need to do before. Now, we've talked a lot about the problem itself, but how do we begin to solve it? Let me tell you this. The way you solve this problem, first of all, is to give yourself a 30-day challenge. And please listen to me when it comes to this, because a lot of scientists right now believe that in order for your brain, your neural pathways in the brain, to kind of delete a habit, and I'm just saying it in my simple language, you need at least 30 days. So your brain needs 30 days to kind of reboot itself. And it really does. Neuroscientists have actually studied this, and they studied the brain. They studied how when people are, for instance, they're addicted to heroin or cocaine, when they give them 30 days, their brain actually starts to change, and the neural pathways kind of stops the signals in order for the person to go into that behavior. So give yourself 30 days, and this is a good challenge to have, and it gives you kind of a goal to have. In these 30 days, what you want to do is to eliminate most of the triggers that you have. Just eliminate the triggers. And what you also want to do is gravitate towards what you love. Gravitate towards discovering yourself, discovering what you actually here for. And what I notice from people who are addicted to pornography is that they have kind of stifled their gifts. They're living a life where they're hiding their gifts from the world. So I recommend that in these 30 days, it's your chance to become aware of your gifts and to share them with the world, and to really start to a personal development journey. Start a journey where you're looking at yourself, you're developing, you're overcoming your fears. And that's really important, because this 30 days is almost like a challenge for you to look forward to and start the journey of discovering yourself. So this is one. The other thing I want to touch on, which is part of the solution, is healing. And you need to start to heal. The reason why I say that is that, like I said in the previous points, pornography in itself is it comes from the root cause of you feeling unworthy, you feeling that you're not worthy maybe of intimacy, you're not worthy of a loving relationship. It also comes from the fact that you're not comfortable with your own self, and it also comes from an issue of spirituality. It's a spiritual issue. It's an issue of feeling like you're empty and believing that there's something outside of you that is going to fill you in, that is going to make you full. and that's a spiritual issue. In order to heal, you need to do meditation. Now, there is so much meditation out there, and please don't get so confused by them. Just start a meditation practice. Start whatever, you know. There's so much meditation. I tried a lot of transcendental meditation, and I did that for years, and then I changed, and I do some chakra meditation. So I kind of clean up all the chakra and I charge them. It doesn't matter what meditation you do, you need to start meditating. Now, if you're religious, also keep praying. Your prayers are important because they're the link between you and the spiritual energy of God. So praying, but also meditation, because meditation really clears out the trauma that happens in the past. And meditation also makes your brain less stressed. You know, meditation is shown to actually decrease anxiety and low mood as well. So you need to start healing. Begin your healing journey, whatever that is, whether it's through meditation. So begin your healing journey, because if you're addicted to pornography, I'm really sorry to say that, but there's part of you that needs healed. There's a part of you that is I wouldn't say sick, because sick is such a big word, but there's a part of you that is wounded, that needs to be healed. So that needs to be your mission in order to start healing. I think this is what I've covered most of the points in this topic. I hope that you enjoy this. If you're still struggling with this problem and you can't really get out, I'm happy to help. I am open, so please DM me and let me know, and I'm happy to help you with this topic and this particular issue, because I think you deserve a life where you actually fulfilled and you're not really stuck to a behavior that you keep shaming yourself about. Guys, thank you for watching, and peace.